Mic was muted there. But what's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is September the 23rd. Today is a Tuesday. We do have some red folder news coming into this morning. We also do have Jerome Powell speaking later into the session. That is at 12, I think 45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is an interesting time. But we'll talk about that here in a second. We'll go over some of the charts that we're looking for coming into today. We did make a new all-time highs once again here on the major indices. We had a nice move on Apple along with Tesla. Those were our two top watches yesterday. And then we also had some Nvidia news midday. And this one ended up having a really solid push back towards our all-time highs level. So talk about some of the names that we're looking at coming into today. And of course, the indices as well. Before we do that, good morning, everyone. What's up? Good morning, Jeff, Victor, B Roots, Robert, Jen, I am, Wayne. Good morning, Monty, Andreas, Majid, Detecto, Captain, Norwin, 50, Martin, Miss Reggie, Juan. Good morning, Vate, Sinna. What's up? What's good, Alex, Robert, SL, Co, Daniel. Good morning, True, MG, Todd, Fabio, Under. What's up, everyone? Yeah, good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Before we get started, if you guys enjoy these, appreciate if you guys drop me a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that's of course in the description below. And of course, if you guys haven't joined the wait list for the event at the end of the month, that's also in the description as well. Okay. Let's first talk about the major indices. Let's first talk about the ES here. So coming into yesterday, the key levels that we had marked out was our high that we created here. That was in the after hours and in the overnight session. And then we also had your 66.85. So you can see kind of right off the bat, nice opening drive play towards the upside, end up gravitating towards that previous day high that we created here on Friday. Once we got above that level, you can see nice retest and continuation higher. So for the overall markets, we end up having this nice push higher, nice retest off of this level for a continued push towards our all-time highs. Now the levels that we can have marked out for the ES is just going to be your previous day highs. So we're just going to mark out your previous day highs. As you can see here, we have two levels now for the ES coming into today. Actually, we can mark out three. We're going to have your pre-market lows, we're going to have your previous day highs, and we're going to have this old high that we created here. So what I like to see here for the ES is a couple scenarios. Number one, break above your previous day highs, hold for this continued push towards the upside. This is going to be the number one scenario. Number two, potential bounce off your pre-market lows for a push towards the upside. Or number three, a push all the way back down in towards your 67.28 for this continued push back towards the upside. So these are the three scenarios for ES coming into market open. The first scenario is going to be the most bullish, basically the break and retest off of your previous day highs. And then you also have your potential pre-market low break and retest as well, as long as you can maintain it. Number three, I don't like as much, but this is also in play, is the retest, as I mentioned, back in towards your 67.30 here on the higher time frames. If you go into the QQQ, fairly similar thing here. Key levels that we can have marked out is going to be that previous day highs, which in this case is your 667. And we can also now mark out your pre-market lows that we've created here as well. So exact same thing here as the SPY key levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be your 664.50. You also have your previous day highs and then your pre-market lows. So for this SPY coming into today, what we have is the break above your previous day highs for continuation. Another scenario, pre-market low break and retest for continuation higher as well. Or, right, similar thing to the ES, potential dip all the way back down in towards that 664.50 for this continued push towards the upside here. So that's what I have on the major indices, at least on the SPY and ES. As I mentioned, I'm not bearish until we break underneath key levels. We are at all-time highs. Don't try and short all-time highs. A lot of people will try and short, which is something you don't want to do. Just because, right, the overall higher time frame is bullish. You just want to be looking for major dips or any sort of buy setup for continuation higher. Whenever you try and short these all-time highs, you rarely have continuation. You might get a nice move, but overall, right, you're never going to have continuation if you're trying to short all-time highs, and it's very hard to try and time the top as well. So for shorts, I'm really only interested if it could break back underneath this 664. So really not interested in shorts on the overall indices. At least currently here on the higher time frame. So this is what we have for the SPY chart. Now let's go on to the NQ. As for the NQ, fairly similar thing here. Key levels that we had marked out was our Friday's highs. Once we're able to get above your Friday's highs, or once we're able to reclaim back even above your Thursday's highs, that's when we had that nice push higher. So coming into yesterday, key levels that we have marked out is your Thursday's highs. Nice reclaim above your 24,800. And then we end up having this nice continuation above your Friday's highs, retest, and then continuation above this here as well. So for the NQ, coming into market open, what we're going to have marked out now is just going to be your previous day highs. So we can mark out your previous day highs 25,020. So that's going to be the key level. And then we can mark out similar thing is going to be your pre-market lows along with this 24,900. So these are the levels that we have marked out for the NQ coming into today. Exact same game plan as the ES, right? Either the break and retest above your previous day highs. Another scenario, right? Break and retest off this pre-market low for this continuation higher, or similar thing all the way back down in towards that 24,900 for this continued pushback towards the upside. So three scenarios, exact same thing on the ES as the NQ. So these are the levels that we're going to have marked out coming into today. I also do want to mention, let me actually pull this up before I go on to any other charts, is the red folder news that we have. So we do have a decent amount of red folder news coming into today. We have flash services, that's going to be at 9:45. We also have Trump speaking 9:50, and then we have Powell speaking, that's going to be at 12:35. So Fed Chair Powell speaking, most likely just on the monetary policy. We'll see if there's any guidance moving forward, but basically that's going to be at 12:35 p.m. And then plus we have red folder news. So majority of the red folder news happening once the market does open. So that's something to keep in mind, at least for the price action coming into today. As for the QQQ, we can do the exact same thing. As for the levels that we have marked out coming into this morning, it's going to be our previous day highs 603, and then what we have marked out is our 599.50, and then we can also mark out your pre-market lows here as well. So for the QQQ coming into today, previous day highs, pre-market lows, and we also have your this was your Friday's highs marked out. So similar game plan, break above your previous day highs, we can see some continuation towards the upside above your 603. Another scenario, bounce off your pre-market lows, and we could be looking for the pushback towards your upside here as well. Or right, exact same thing, right? Dip all the way back down in towards essentially your 600 key cycle level and your Friday's highs that we've created. So these are the three scenarios for the ES along with the NQ, right? Only interested in downside underneath really this 599, right? Some people might be interested underneath pre-market lows. That is also a possible scenario, but I'd much rather be interested underneath this 599 for some more bearish price action. So those are the levels that I have marked out on the major indices. Game plan is the exact same throughout all the ES and the NQ. It's good to see the QQQ kind of leading the market here as well now. So that's why we've had some very nice opportunity, at least from the Mag 7. Also these other tech names here as well. But now let's go on to some of the names that we're looking at coming into today. Let's first talk about Tesla. So Tesla, we talked about this one being our top watch coming into yesterday. Key levels, right? You kind of had this flat top break here on the hourly chart. So this is still fairly bullish here on the higher time frames as well. So you can see nice push towards the upside, consolidation, flat top break, and we end up having this nice break. And now we're actually retesting this 430 level. So as long as you can maintain your 430, we're still fairly bullish here on Tesla, and we can expect to continue push towards the upside. So key levels that we have marked out coming into today is our 430. You can see nice break above. I actually just readjusted this, but nice break above our 430. Now we're holding above your 430, and we can expect continuation back towards the upside. Key levels on Tesla, at least coming into today now, that we're going to have marked out is the area that we broke down from, which is our 440, a very key level and the level that we're currently at. And then we can also mark out our previous day highs here, which is going to be our 445. So coming to market open, you can see this is the area that we broke down from yesterday. So far, we're finding some buyers off this 430. Nice kind of continue push towards the upside. Key levels that we have marked out now, 440. If we can reclaim, hold back above your 440, we can see this push back up and towards your previous day highs and above. So we can keep an eye out on Tesla coming to market open for the reclaim back above your 440. So this is going to be the key level. If we reject off your 440, we could see a mean reversion back down in towards its previous day close. But overall, higher time frame still fairly bullish for me on Tesla. Reclaim back above your 440, or even the reclaim later into the session back above your 440 for this push back up and towards your previous day highs and above. So we'll keep an eye out on Tesla. Right, overall now, right, we're still bullish here on the higher time frames just based off this hourly chart. So until we break underneath its previous day lows, we're going to maintain Tesla, at least for a bullish stance for continuation. You can see on this push higher, we have not once broken underneath its previous day lows. Every single day, we've maintained above your previous day lows and we've continued higher. So you can see Tesla very much still bullish. Until we're able to break underneath your previous day lows and hold underneath, we are not going to be bearish on Tesla. We still have key levels, as I mentioned, previous day highs and then 450 here. So keep an eye out on Tesla coming into market open on your 440. As for Apple, similar thing here. We talked about this one being one of our main watches yesterday as well for a potential push back up and towards your 250 and above. Apple, really solid push yesterday. Next level is your all-time high. So for Apple, really solid push above your previous day highs. We kind of just had this opening drive play right off the bat, and we ended up having some more continuation above that. So for Apple, we can go even onto the 5-minute if we'd like here as well. Right, 5-minute opening range. Once we broke above that, nice continuation towards the upside. Key levels that we have marked out now for Apple is your previous day highs, and we also have your all-time highs, 259. So for Apple, key levels coming into today, we do have your previous day highs above that, all-time highs is in play. So what I'd like to see coming into this morning is a few scenarios. Number one, consolidation, opening range break for this push up and towards your previous day highs and above. Or number two, right, break above your previous day highs for a push up and towards your all-time highs, which is your 259. So that's what we have for Apple coming into market open. Keep an eye out on your previous day highs key level, which is your 256.50. Either way, right, Apple, fairly bullish. We are going to expect this to gravitate towards your all-time highs. We already had a pretty big move the past two sessions, so we'll see what shapes up within the first kind of 15 to 30 minutes here, but eventually Apple is going to hit our all-time highs level, which is that 259 here on the higher time frame. So we can keep an eye out on Apple moving forward. And then for Nvidia, it does seem like some volume finally kicking in here. We talked about this one eventually hitting your all-time highs. Of course, this one ended up having some news, which was fairly solid. That kind of pushed that up in towards your all-time highs key level. So as you can see here on the daily chart, we're basically just consolidating in between this range. And then finally, we had some news yesterday right off equilibrium. Nice push straight up and towards our all-time highs key level, which is this 184. We end up tapping it perfectly. As you can see, a little bit of reaction, which was expected after hitting your all-time highs. But now we want to see Nvidia potentially break above your all-time high. So you can see how many touches we've had here on this ticker. We've had one touch, right? Multiple touches here on your all-time highs key level. This would happen to do with earnings. Earnings. We also had another touch yesterday as well. So for Nvidia coming into today, what we'd like to see is one of two scenarios, right? The clear break is going to be above your previous day highs. If we can break above your previous day highs, we can see some nice continuation towards the upside above this 184. So this is going to be the number one scenario above your 184. Another scenario is trying to anticipate the break above your all-time highs. This is also in play as well. It's just going to be the consolidation, right? Opening range break for a push up in towards your all-time highs 184. So this is also a key scenario. We do have to also keep in mind a potential kind of rejection once again off your all-time high. So if we're not able to hold above this 184, it very much well could reverse off of your all-time highs and just come right back towards the middle of the range. So we'll keep an eye out on Nvidia. This is actually going to be my main watch coming into today, just because we had some news yesterday. We hit your all-time highs, which is a key objective. Now I want to see if we have any more continuation above your all-time highs, which is going to be this 184.46. So as I mentioned, how to play this is going to be right consolidation, right, push towards your all-time highs, or now it's going to be the break above your previous day highs for this pushback towards the upside. As for AMD, you can see this one consolidating here as well. Key levels that we just have marked out 162 along with this 150. Key levels that we're going to have to see break is going to be this 162 for continuation back towards the upside. So that's going to be the main thing here on AMD. Until we're able to break above, now it's going to be your previous day highs or the area that we broke down from. Right, we're going to stay a little bit more neutral, but if we can break above your 162, we can see some nice continuation back towards the upside. So that's what we have here on AMD coming into today. Other levels that we could have marked out is just going to be your Friday's highs here as well. So this is also a key level. We can keep an eye out on your 160 bounce as well, or if it breaks underneath, potential right continuation back down in towards your 157 and below. As for Meta, not really too much to talk about here on the higher time frames. I would like to see kind of buyers step in off of your 167. So this is what we have here for Meta. As for the rest of the tickers, Google's still holding up fairly nicely here. So what we like to see is just higher lows be built. As long as you can maintain your higher lows here on Google, you can expect continuation back up in towards your 256 and above. So those are the key levels here on the higher time frames. As long as we can maintain above, now it's going to be this 252. Amazon, not too much to talk about on this ticker. Key level is your 229. So your 229. We also have other levels, 226. Not really too much to talk about on this one. Netflix consolidating in the middle of the range here as well. And then Microsoft, similar thing. Key level for Microsoft now is going to be your 520. What we like to see for at least some more upside is the break above your 520 previous week's highs for continuation back towards the upside. Okay, so yeah, coming into today, watches, right? Tesla, Apple, along with Nvidia, and then we'll also keep an eye out on the spine Qs, the reaction that we have off of your previous day highs. Okay, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, that one is in the description below. And of course, if you guys haven't joined the waitlist for the event coming up at the end of the month, you can also join the waitlist for that. Okay, let me grab some water here and then we'll take a look at some other charts. Okay, let me go over some names here, or some other names. Let's see. Do you have a video on market structure / trend? Yeah, I have a bunch of videos on the higher time frames. Also talk about it a lot here on the pre-market as well. I think it's called, I forget exactly what the title is called, but I do have quite a few videos on market structure and just trends on the higher time frame. So for Palantir, key levels that we have marked out is going to be your 184 along with this 178. This one, as you can see here, once we reclaim back above your 170, next levels that I have is really back up and towards your all-time highs on this ticker. So what I have marked out on Palantir coming into at least today is going to be this 178 and also this 184. So this is what we have here on the higher time frames. As long as you can maintain above your 178, you can see so far buyers are stepping in. This is the level we talked about yesterday. Now, the other levels that we can have marked out as well is just going to be your previous day highs and also kind of this like 180.50 level. But overall for Palantir, this is what I like to see is one of a couple scenarios actually. Number one, is going to be right the break above your last week's highs 184 for a continuation towards that all-time highs. Another scenario that we can kind of have marked out here is your 181, kind of maintain above your 181, slowly push back up and towards your last week's highs 184, or if price comes all the way back down, right, kind of buyers stepping in off this 178. So I personally like to see kind of scenario number 2 play out. Scenario number 1's fine here as well, above your last week's highs 184. But if you can get kind of the base consolidation and start pushing back up and towards that 184, we can see this nice continuation higher back above that. And then as I mentioned, next levels above is going to be that all-time high. So that's what we have here for Palantir. As for HIMS, key levels that we have marked out is going to be your previous day highs along with your Friday's highs. So we can mark this out. We can actually just drag this over. Let me do this. As you can see here for HIMS, nice kind of consolidation that we had yesterday. Now what we're looking for is the break above 59, continuation higher. If you're looking at this on the hourly chart, nice base, break, right, base once again, broke above. Now we're consolidating above your 56. Flat top forming here as well. We like to see break above 59 hold for this continued pushback towards the upside. If we're looking at this on the really this daily chart, HIMS is shaping up fairly nicely. Next levels that we have, if you can break above your previous day highs, is going to be all the way back towards that 64, really the area that we broke down from, plus that earnings high. So we can keep an eye out on HIMS. This one's shaping up fairly nicely. Now it's going to be the break back above this 59 key pivot level. As for SoFi, nice push towards your all-time highs once we got above your 2960s. Key levels that are just going to have marked out previous day highs here, 3030. Key levels that you like to see maintain on SoFi now, 2960s for this continued push higher. OKLO, key levels that we have marked out here on the daily chart is your high that we created last week on Friday. Other levels that we have marked out here as well is your previous day highs, which is your 142. So for OKLO, primarily what you like to see maintain above your Friday's highs, 136 for this continued push towards the upside. Another scenario is now going to be the break above your previous day highs, which is your 142 for continuation higher. So those are the two levels that we have marked out on OKLO. As for Hood, key levels that we have marked out, 124. I don't like this chart as much, but this is at all-time highs. It's just slowly pushing towards the upside. But for Hood, key levels 123, previous all-time highs, along with your 124.50s. Other levels that we could have marked out now here is going to be your previous day highs as well, 126.50s. So for Hood, primarily key levels, either the break above your previous day highs for this continuation higher above your 126.50s, or now it's going to be the dip all the way back down in towards that 124.50s for this continued pushback towards the upside. Okay, let's go on to a few other ones. And go on to MU. So MU still looks good here on the higher time frames. You can see kind of basing above key levels, 156. Also key levels here as well. You can see resistance now turning into support above your 160s. Other levels that I have marked out on MU now is just going to be your previous day highs. So previous day highs we can have marked out. And then we also have your previous close from all the way. This was back from Thursday of last week. So for MU, what I like to see now is really the break above your previous day highs, hold for this push up and towards your 168.50s, along with your previous day highs back at your 170, sorry, not previous day highs, last week's highs, 170.50 here on MU. Let's go into a few other ones. As for BABA, this one's been consolidating after having a really solid push higher. As for BABA, came up and towards our key levels yesterday, which was our last week's highs. A little bit of rejections off of that key level after having this nice push. So moving forward, this is going to be our key levels, right? 167 along with our 162. If you consolidate in this area, right, primarily don't look for any trades. What we're going to be looking for now is the break above 167 for this next leg towards the upside, or of course, it's going to be the break underneath your 162. So those are the key levels that we're going to have marked out moving forward. You can just set alerts overall, right? Higher time frame bullish, similar thing. What I like to see, kind of make this flat top. Flat top breaks are one of the most bullish higher time frame setups. So if you ever seen this, if you ever see this on the higher time frames, right? Keep an eye on this one, especially if you see this on the 1 hour time frame or the daily chart. These ones have the best moves, right? Something similar to Tesla, right? Apple, right? Flat top breaks. The flat top breaks are the most bullish higher time frame setups that you can see, especially in a trending market and if the markets are at all-time highs. IWM. As for IWM, the key levels that we have marked out is your previous all-time highs. We also have marked out your FOMC highs here as well. So this is a very key level, 244.50s. FOMC highs, as long as you can maintain above your 244.50s, we can see this push up and towards your 246 and above. So that's going to be the key levels that we have marked out on IWM coming into this morning. Next levels towards the upside is this 246. As for CRWV, see a few people talking about this one. So CRWV moving up nicely now. You can see broke back above key levels. We're starting to build up higher lows here as well. Also had a flat top break yesterday or the day before. As you can see, kind of liquidity being built up, where higher lows being built here as well. We end up having this kind of fake breakout here on Friday, but once we are able to reclaim back above, nice continuation towards the upside here. So key levels that we have marked out coming into today is going to be that previous day highs. So we can mark this out, drag it over. Key levels 136. We actually just hit your previous day highs here in the pre-market on CRWV, and next levels that I do have marked out is all the way back towards your 150. So for CRWV, this happened to do with earnings. So 150 is a key level. So it's fairly far away, but for CRWV now, what we like to see is get above your previous day highs, maintain above your previous day highs for this continued push towards the upside. So this is what we have for CRWV coming into today, the break above your 136 for this continuation higher. So for a few other tickers, went over those ones. Let's go over open. As for open key levels, we're actually showing a little bit of weakness now. You can see kind of staying heavy once we're unable to make a new high, right? Kind of pops being shorted. Some buyers tried stepping in yesterday right off the bat. In the pre-market, or sorry, during the market hours, you can see kind of nice bounce off your 880s, but ultimately was not able to get back above your previous day lows and hold above it. We actually rejected off this area, and now you can see price continuation. Plus, we had some news here in the pre-market pushing this back towards the downside. So for open, you can see didn't hold your 880 key level support. Now we're actually right back down in towards your 7, which is the key area that we broke out from. You can see buyers are stepping in off this level. Now what we like to see is one or two scenarios: bounce off your 7 once again, or now it's going to be the reclaim back above your 870 for this continued push back towards the upside. So that's what we have for open coming into today. Let me scroll down here as well. Let's see. Let me go over a few other tickers. Intel. Which strikes do, let's see. Did you go over AMD? Yes, that's correct. I go over all these tickers. Whatever's on the right-hand side, primarily before, I go over every single one of these ones. As for Intel, this one, after having this nice pop, this one's kind of selling off. So this one, nice pop, selling off currently. Key levels that we have marked out is going to be like halfway. So a lot of times whenever you have these big gaps higher, you're just going to mark out half of the gap. So half of the gap, you can have kind of like a rough estimate of half the gap, but basically you can use a fib tool or whatnot, or draw from the swing, basically from the gap, and you can draw like halfway, and that's where it's also a key level of potential support. So around your like 28 key cycle level, I'd like to see Intel start finding a bottom here. Key levels that we're going to have marked out, we can just get rid of this, is going to be the low that we created, and we can also mark this out here. So the low that we have created on last Thursday, plus we can also mark out your previous day highs here, which is going to be your 30 key psych level. So for Intel, you like to start kind of finding a bottom here. Key levels you can be looking for, kind of bounce off your previous day lows. Now it's going to be the break back above your previous day highs for a continuation towards the upside. So those are the key levels we have for Intel coming into today. So we can just mark this out. As for a few other tickers, coin, trying to find some buyers off your 330 here. What strikes do you recommend for swing trading 30 days? So you can trade a few weeks out. So you can trade 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, depending on your time frame that you're using. But yeah, you can choose monthlies, or you can choose weeklies as well. Those work for swing trading. If you choose swing trading, anywhere between a couple days to a week, but primarily you want to see the trade kind of work out. If you're trading like 30 days or a few months out, that's really based more on the daily chart and higher time frame thesis. So as you can see here for coin, key levels that we're going to have marked out is your 327. That's your key level. Multiple touches here. What we like to see now is it really hold your 328 for this continued pushback towards upside. So this is what we have for coin. Not too much to talk about here, right? Nice kind of base off of our 290. Now we like to see, right, this continue push back up and towards your 380 here and above, eventually here on coin. As for Oracle, will you be trading before Powell or after? If there's any setups, I'll be looking for setups. If there's any setups, I'll be looking for trades beforehand. We do also have flash services, as I mentioned. So we have flash services at 9:45. So you're probably just going to wait for the first 15 minutes to play out. And then if the market's just consolidating or choppy, you could even wait for Powell to speak, which is going to be at 12:35. You also have Trump speaking at 9:50 here as well. So decent amount of red folder plus orange folder news coming into today. As I mentioned, we are at all-time highs, so we will see if we have continuation kind of just right off the bat. So for Oracle, this one, nice push towards the upside. Key levels that I have marked out is our 308. This is a higher time frame key level that I marked out yesterday, and we also now have marked out the area that we broke down from, which is our 324. So really nice push back towards the upside here on Oracle. Now what I'd really like to see is it maintain above your 324. So 324 is going to be key as long as you can maintain above this. Continuation back up and towards your previous day highs and above. Another scenario, break above your previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. So these are the two scenarios that are going to have marked out on Oracle coming into today. So keep an eye out on that 324. If you can maintain above that, really next levels, similar thing, back up and towards your all-time highs. So what we can have marked out is your 330. We can also have marked out now, it's going to be that all-time highs in this case, which is at 345. So those are the key levels on Oracle coming into today. And then for AVGO, this one slowly kind of pushing lower here, finding some buyers. But what we like to see now is primarily the reclaim back above your 340-250 for a potential push back up and towards your 345 and above here, which will be your 350. Okay, let me scroll down here. Let me talk about my game plan and most likely get ready for market open. Powell speaks at 12:45. Let's see. I'm struggling to know what tickers to take for swings, what criteria you look for. Higher time frames plus news. If you have a higher time frame setup, it's really just based off the higher time frame. So if you have a higher time frames, that's what you're going to focus on, at least for swings. Is it risky to take Nvidia for upside since it is at all-time highs and could reject? Yeah, so if you're trying to take Nvidia before your all-time highs, there's a very good chance that it potentially could not even move. So that's why we're either waiting for that opening range break to either confirm the move up and towards your previous day highs, or the most confirmation would be above your previous day highs. So we just wait for Nvidia to get above your previous day highs, and then we'd be looking for your previous day highs retest. So you can try and anticipate it beforehand by either waiting for that opening range break, or you're just going to wait for confirmation, which is going to be the break above your previous day highs. Where'd you enter Tesla yesterday? Because I missed it. The retest, that one was before it was based off the 9 EMA. That's actually going to be my video this week. I'm going to talk about the 9 EMA. I know some of you guys, I have it on different layouts here, but basically I have the 9 EMA along with the VWAP in 21. I talked about it, I think, a very long time ago, but these are the only indicators I used, and I still use it to this day just to have them on my chart. And it's a confluence with the break and retest as well. And it's very beginner friendly, so you can use this as a confluence to add it into your system. Okay, let me go on to my game plan, and then I will get ready for market open. So coming into today, fairly similar, right? What we have here for the overall markets is your previous day highs here on the ES along with your pre-market lows. So let's actually just draw your pre-market lows here as well. So we can draw this out. What we can focus on is just going to be your pre-market lows along with your previous day highs. If you can break above your previous day highs, you can see this nice continuation higher. Another scenario, right? Bounce off of your pre-market lows for push towards the upside. So those are the scenarios that I have laid out here for the ES and the NQ as well. So we can draw at these levels, similar game plan here on the SPY and the QQQ. So the exact same thing applies. So what we're going to do is look at the reaction that we have off of your previous day highs here for the ES and the NQ. As for my top watches coming into today, we're going to keep an eye out on Tesla. Key levels that we have is your 440. If we can consolidate, get back underneath 440, we can get back above 440. We can see this push up and towards your previous day highs. I like to see this consolidate and then reclaim later into the session. As for Apple, another trade that we could be looking for is kind of the opening range break for this push back up and towards your previous day highs. And then the exact same setup here on Nvidia would be either right consolidation, right opening range break for a push towards the upside, or now it's going to be the break above your previous day highs for this continued pushback towards upside. So that's what I have for the major indices along with the tech names coming into today. So these are the major ones I'm going to focus on: Tesla, Apple, Nvidia. As for the rest of the tickers, we're going to be a little bit more patient. I do like AMD if we can get back above your previous day highs. The rest of the names seem like they are just consolidating, so we're going to be a little bit more patient on the other ones. As for some of these growth names, Palantir looks good if we can get above. Now it's going to be this previous day highs. We can have this marked out along with your last week's highs. SoFi still looks fairly good, right? OKLO, this one is fairly overextended. I'll be a little bit more cautious on this ticker. As for Hood, this one's still fairly bullish. And then we have some other names that we can kind of focus on here. Oracle, you can keep an eye out on your 324 for a potential push back towards the upside. So that's what I have here. It does seem like TSM's moving nicely here as well. Above your previous day highs. We're at all-time highs in this case. Yeah, this one ended up having a super nice move. So TSM, nice kind of push higher. You could be looking for the first kind of dip for a potential push higher. And then even CRWV above your previous day highs, 136. So these are the names that we can keep an eye out on coming into market open. I am going to get ready for market open here now. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate if you guys drop me a like. If you guys haven't joined the daily watch list, of course, that is in the description below. And if you haven't joined the waitlist for the event that's coming up at the end of the month, you guys can sign up for that. The waitlist is in the first link in the description below. All right, that's going to be it for me today, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.